My name is Matt Hoffman. I am in the 30 Club, so I'm actually 31 now, and I live in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
So Matt, you've been riding for about 21 years. What got you interested in the sport?
I played different sports in school, and I just really didn't like the way that you're kind of dictated on how you performed, and you had to kind of conform your personality to the rules and to a team. And then I just saw kind of a sport that you could kind of do it vice versa, where you could conform the rules to your personality. And it was something that was more of, you know, like you could make up the rules and you could have more control over it. You're limited only by your creativity. I could just make it personal. I could make it an expression, and I fell in love with it. I haven't been able to do anything else since.
Were you attracted more culturally to BMX rather than the other sports that you had done?
Yeah. It was weird. We live in Oklahoma, you know, so we got influenced by both coasts, you know, and at the time there was a big punk rock scene coming from the east, and there was the skateboarding, surfing scene, and bike riding was just kind of beginning, coming from the west, and so it kind of met us in Oklahoma, you know, at the same time. And so what I kind of took from those cultures and those lifestyles is just like, you know, question and challenge everything. You know, you don't know what's possible unless you answer it. You know, I want to become who I am through experience, you know.
Try to run down just a list of sponsors since you started.
Let's see here. It started out Ron Dutton at Edmond Bike Shop, Mountain Dew, Awesome Shoes, then Airwalk, Vision, Swatch. Then so I rode for Skyway for a while, till like 88, I think. I rode from 86, 87 for 2 years. Then 88, rode for Haro, and which is, of course, was kind of a dream sponsor in those days anyway. And current stuff is Duff's, Target, Jones Soda,
You ride for HOFFMAN bikes too.
and me. Yeah, I'm a tough one to negotiate with.
I don't think you've ever claimed this, but I'll give you credit for it as, if not the first, one of the first 3 bike riders in the world to ever do a handrail. And at the time, there was no parks that had handrails to practice on. You fired it off on a big set of steps. It's the only way you learned how to do it.
Yeah, and then we learned very quick that aluminum stuck to steel. I remember those days.
So back in about 1990, there's barely really no contests, and there's barely any sponsors. And what made you want to start your own bike company and start doing contests about that time?
You know, they were saying the sport was dead, and there was really nobody to be able to really say that, because there's nobody putting on contests, so there's nowhere for any of us to gather, you know. And so really I just wanted to do a series that just gave everybody a place to just come and celebrate bike riding, and just see how many people showed up. And then, you know, the first one at Jeff Phillips' place was just huge, you know. And so it was like, it was completely contrast to the sport being dead. I mean, it was thriving, it was progressive. People were just learning so much more stuff, especially in the span that there's no really contest to document what was going on, you know. And then boom, like all this progression just hit at once, and all this support, and I wanted to get back to where an active rider was organizing the contest, so that it would progress with the evolution of the sport, you know. So they would progress hand in hand.
And around the same time you wanted to start HOFFMAN bikes. What was your decision to do that? At that time you're riding for Haro and doing pretty well, but why did you decide to do your own bikes?
Again, the sport was like progressing outside of what the equipment that was being manufactured and being designed, you know. I mean, it's just, we didn't have a bike for freestyle and street and vert that really could trust, you know. And so that's basically what inspired that, is just to, just to progress with the times, you know. And really the sport was getting to a level that you're betting your life on what you're putting under your feet. The goal to basically just trying to rebuild a foundation that was rider directed, so that, you know, that it just represent our lives and our sport the purest way possible. I mean, that's the whole reason why we decided to keep control over the direction and the destiny of our sport by forming a foundation that supports the rider-owned and supports the way that we can represent and interpret what our sport means to the world. And, you know, that turned into, okay, wait, I have to learn how to make TV shows, so it doesn't get exploited from someone else that is only into it for whatever the flavor of the week was that week, you know. So that's been my mission of life now, is to try to keep my hands on it enough to where they can't take it from us, you know.
Early 90s, built a 21-foot tall ramp, couple years later, built a 21-foot tall half pipe.
46-foot rolling.
And you still couldn't go high enough, so that's when you attached a weed eater motor to a bicycle, and that's the one you lost your spleen on. And that's pretty much it until about 2 years ago you decided to build a 24-foot one, and that's where you got hurt and decided to quit. And tell us about how that first became an idea and how you went about accomplishing it.
The thought, spawned from seeing ramps going, that 6-foot quarter pipe we had to 8-foot quarter pipes to 10-foot half pipes to 12-foot half, and just seeing it evolve. And with that evolution of the size of the ramp, the areas above it evolved too. And so I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute. I started looking into the physics of it, and I was seeing, okay, the G's of hitting each one of these ramps are similar, but the vertical speed is greater because the transition is more, and it'll absorb more speed. And so I just started kind of calculating that up, and I was like, oh, screw the evolution part. Let's just get to the end right now. Let's see what we got. Let's just double the size of the ramp and see what I can do on it.
I don't want to take pictures of this shit.
Seeing the physics were possible in it, I was like, okay, well now let's see if it is physically possible. And then of course, I almost killed myself on that, and I had lots of surgeries, lost my spleen, and I think you tore the ramp down when I went out of town. I still think they say the wind blew it down, but it came back and the ramp was down. Like, what happened? And then I tried to shake it from my mind for a while, and I did. And then I was looking at this ramp on this roll-in, and I was able to clear 15 feet on this vert ramp. And I was like, man, if I doubled this ramp, I could go 30. And then I was like, oh man, now it's starting again. That's where the 24-foot was from.
Coat, pockets are bulging with Nebutol.
Do you have any switch you can turn off where you just don't have to ride full blast every time?
No. I don't know. It's like that's the switch. It's either on or it's off, I try to tell myself to ride mellow, but riding is what I love to do, and once I start, I just want more and more, and then next thing I know, I'm not riding mellow.
You're going to have a mellow session. I see 12-foot airs, I see no-handed fives, and that's practice, and there's no one there, and that's it. You still do all your crazy stuff.
Yeah, I know. Damn it all.
Unfortunately, you crash as hard. You crash as often as you would in a big comp because of that, too.
Nothing to be proud of. I don't know, man. When I roll in and I ride, I just get amped because I'm riding, and I just have to keep pushing it more and more, and I can't claim I'm going to do a mellow session. If I'm going to roll into a ramp, I'm going to ride it, You have to accept the consequences that you're against, And when you roll into a ramp, you know what those are, especially if you've lived your life on the deck of a vert ramp. Every time I roll in now, I go out just cruising, doing little tricks here and there. I'm going to go out like the blaze of so.
Was there any one major injury that made you go, damn, I don't know if I want to do this or not anymore?
Not one that made me think, do I want to do this anymore? Because every time I've had an injury, it's always been kind of a boundary in the way, and so I just trying to get around it, just trying to get back riding, But the one that was the most difficult that I thought was going to take it from me was my knee injury. 5 years ago, I first tore my ACL and PCL. I had to get a new ACL, PCL with cadaver ligaments. It took about 7 months to get back going. In the first 2 weeks back, I blew my ACL out again. I was down. I was off my bike for over a year. And then I didn't think I was ever going to be able to ride again. And then that's when I started getting on the internet and exploring just as much different options out there. I found synthetic ligaments and just experimental surgeries that put me back together.
So you're on your second artificial ligament now, and it's a surgery and a procedure that isn't even legal in the States. You have to go to Canada to get it done.
Yeah, that was a gnarly surgery. I ended up they wanted to get the FDA to see if I would do it without anesthetic, because they said the FDA agree that anesthesiology is one of the most dangerous parts of surgery, you know, and so if they could represent that this surgery could be done without anesthetics, then they could maybe get FDA to sanction it.
Not a basic surgery. I mean, there's bone drills.
Yeah, no, they had to drill 8 inches of my bone, just like this, like I'm talking with you right now, just.
So you had somebody cut your knee wide open and then drill holes directly into your bone with no anesthesia.
Yeah, it was gnarly, and it didn't get sanctioned. And I didn't have crutches or any drugs for afterwards, you know, like any pain drugs, you know. And now, working nice.
If you look back on it now, was it all worth it, or is it all worth it?
Oh yeah, I mean that's what makes it all worth it. I have no regrets. I mean, if I didn't try some of those things that caused injuries, then I would have regret, you know. But everything that entered my mind that I thought there was maybe a possibility or there's a dream that I wanted to manifest reality, you know, I just I acted on it. And so because of my injuries, I have no regrets.
You get a volume discount from your surgeon?
I even tried like warranties on some surgeries, you know, like, wait a minute, this is the 4th time I've injured this. Yeah, but Matt, you've been falling off 20-foot objects onto perpendicular surfaces, so so that's what happens.
You've been married now for about 10 years. Congratulations. You have a 2.5-year-old daughter and a brand new baby boy is about 5 months old. Does it change your riding in any way?
Yeah, my riding reflects my life, you know, and it still does. You know, I've grown up with it. All the things that inspired me and motivated me growing up all came out through my riding, and now I'm growing old with it. Everything that I'm experiencing growing old is you know, influencing my riding, and now it's amazing. I mean, just having both. My riding feels so pure and so clean, and because of my kids, I get all my inspiration from my kids now and my family, just watching them grow up. This is called multitasking. It's the most energy I've ever had to use when I'm riding, and it's great because I mean, my body nowadays, you know, I need that, you know, to kind of give myself something to look over. You know, they don't just affect it.
Has it made you question?
Becoming used to just high risks all the time, you know, that nothing scared me. And so saying nothing scares you, you're just saying you've lost your instinct to evaluate danger, you know, and that's not a good thing, you know. And so to not have that instinct, that's the most dangerous part of who I was, you know, and I was satisfying myself, so I was just like, full throttle, whatever, let's go. And JC and I brought Gianna into this world. She didn't have to accept any terms, you know, to it. And I brought her into this world. So I started thinking, okay, wait a minute. Am I being responsible to my daughter, raising her by being this, you know? If I take it too far, you know, I always try to look at it through her eyes a little bit and just kind of, you know, she's my governor now, you know? Okay, hey, Hoffman family. We have Jet, JC, and me.
What the hell was up with Monkey Boy, and why in the hell did you make me wear that damn suit? You said I was gonna get fired unless I wore that thing.
Because now, like, how many years later, and you bring it up, and it just makes me laugh.
So you did it as just a practical joke?
That's my whole life has been one big practical joke. It's just taking a joke a little bit too far and just.
Or a lot too far.
Yeah. Well, sometimes if you take it too far, it stops not being funny. It starts being funny.
This one never quite got that far. So, 21 years of being in this sport industry. Anybody you'd like to thank?
Man, I don't even know where to start, really. I think in my book. But yeah, I don't know. You in particularly. I mean, you've done so much for me, and just everybody that's supported me. Yeah, you guys know the deal. Thank you. Thank you for watching this and just being interested.
Too much risk. Dreams die. for life.